So Georgia beats UT Martin 48-7 in the 2023 season opener, and this is a game that we thought, we're going to see a lot of young players. We might get to see all three quarterbacks, and we ended up seeing all three quarterbacks, even though there was a point in the game where I was like, okay, well, Georgia hasn't, pulled away quite yet. Sluggish start for Georgia, not completely surprising. You thought that they would put a little bit more of a thumping on UT Martin, but the slow start is not surprising. Some injuries. There are some reasons for that, but this is about these quarterbacks. You got to see Carson Beck in his first start, and then Brock Vandagriff come in and get a couple drives, and then Gunnar Stockton come in and get some time as well. So Georgia got to develop a lot of football players yesterday. Look at the wide receiver room. You look at the DBs. You look everywhere. Look everywhere. Georgia played a lot of young players, a lot of people. The Georgia Bulldogs got more experience yesterday, is one of my biggest takeaways from Saturday. And Gunnar Stockton and Brock Vandagriff are neck and neck, according to Kirby Smart. Neck and neck for this backup quarterback job. I'm going to pull up a couple more of the quotes that he said about them, but that one it surprised me that it just came out and said it. And I'm rolling some videos and some photos over some of this so you guys can kind of see Gunnar Stockton and Brock Vandagriff, some of the stuff that we captured yesterday. I thought that both of them played well. I thought that Carson Beck, it wasn't the game I thought Carson was going to have. Now, I knew that Georgia was probably going to run more than we originally anticipated, but Carson didn't have the game I thought he was going to have. Now, he didn't have a bad game, right? I got the numbers. Let's look at the final numbers for Beck. 21 for 31, 294 and a touchdown. And he had the rushing touchdown as well. So almost 300 yards. He had a solid game. It wasn't bad. No picks. Vandagriff comes in with the twos. He looks good. He throws that touchdown pass to Oscar Delp. That was not a good ball. Really low, obviously, right? But a touchdown's a touchdown. He threw a really good deep ball to Ra Thomas. And the other thing about Vandagriff is the legs. The legs for Brock Vandagriff. He's probably the most talented runner in this quarterback room, although Gunnar Stockton, has a case for that as well. But, there was one play where Vandagriff, and I think this play ended up being called back because I don't see it on the official stat sheet. Now I remember, I think it was a holding or something. But Vandagriff gets the edge, and he starts taking off, and he's 20, 30 yards down the field before someone catches him. That's what you get with Brock Vandagriff. With Gunnar Stockton, he comes in. His guy rolls out, looking through his progressions, hits accurate strikes, and Gunnar Stockton comes in and lowers the shoulder a little bit too. He's a physical runner. He's been doing that since his days at Rabun County, where, he's not afraid to be the one that lays the hit as the quarterback who's running the football. So all three of those quarterbacks, we got to see them in one game. That was the first, I believe that was Gunnar Stockton's first official action for Georgia, because obviously Vandagriff was the 3 last year and got in a couple times. And so Gunnar Stockton will probably work at that. But Kirby Smart says they're neck and neck. Here are the other things he said. I'm so pleased. He's really happy about where they're at. He said both of those guys continue to get better, and I'm so pleased with their progress. But he did say that they're neck and neck. Now, there are some Georgia fans who, freaked out over yesterday, over the UT Martin game. How it wasn't this, 65-0, 65-7 blowout, and the offense looked sluggish to start the game. People complain about, I do agree that was a weird call, the Mike Bobo run there at the end of the first half, I believe it was, or wherever that was, where it was like kind of a missed time, poor time management by the coaching staff there. I just think it's hard to freak out about a game like this, and I think that there are a lot of positives that you can take away. Now, they need to get guys healthy. You need Lad McConkey out there. You need, Marcus Jackson, it's an internal thing. I don't think that's an injury thing. I think that's more of a disciplinary that Kirby won't share. But, you need Marcus Jackson out there. You need Daijun Edwards. Probably one of the biggest players they were missing yesterday was Daijun Edwards. These running backs are good, but there is no James Cook. There is no DeAndre Swift. There's not someone that's going to take it to the house. Maybe, Cash Jones got his touches, but is Cash Jones going to be reliable to take it to the house? I don't know. So Milton, played banged up, made some good plays, had a really nice stiff arm, right? So, Milton played well, but no Branson Robinson. Having no Dejan Edwards also hurts that. And that'll obviously help Carson Beck. I thought the offensive line played well, especially in pass protection. But in run block, you want it to be better, especially when you're that much bigger and stronger than your opponent, right, against the UT Martin. That's where you are just like, well, these guys are just so much better than them. Why aren't they just straight up obliterating them every play? Well, I think they got to knock off some rust and remember how much experience Georgia gained yesterday. And so for Brock and Gunner, that was a little bit of a tangent, and I apologize. But Brock and Gunner, those guys, I thought looked sharp. Take everything into account. They're playing probably against a couple backups. They're playing with some backups. UT Martin at that point is probably depleted. So take those things into account that, Carson Beck got the best deal out of it all, right, as the starting quarterback does. But when Vandagriff and Stockton were both given their opportunity, they showed, why they were highly rated recruits. They showed why they're Georgia quarterbacks right now. So I think the future for Georgia's quarterback situation is in good hands, especially when you look at Dylan Raiola, you look at Ryan Puglisi. They've already got guys on the line. There will be guys that come after that. Georgia's quarterback future is in good hands, and this backup quarterback situation is going to be interesting to monitor if it's neck and neck. It looks like Brock Vandagriff is given that second string role as of now, a guy that has a year on Gunnar Stockton in the program. So Vandagriff, I think for experience purposes, now it wouldn't surprise me. Listen, this is no knock on Vandagriff. I think Vandagriff is a very talented football player. I just don't know that he'll ever, I don't know if the job will ever be his. I think that Gunnar Stockton is gaining ground on him, is the way I would put it. I think Gunnar Stockton's gaining ground in this quarterback room. It would not surprise me if Gunnar Stockton is the starting quarterback for Georgia next year. Now, it also wouldn't surprise me if Brock Vandagriff was the starting quarterback. It will be between those two guys, barring a transfer in or out, barring Raiola or Puglisi winning the job as a freshman, which would surprise me with, having these guys in the program, and they're talented enough to hold those freshmen off, in my opinion. But I thought they looked good. With Vandagriff, the thing that scares you if you're a defense, the thing that scares you with Vandagriff is, well, if he gets a little bit around us, he's gone, right? And also, he does have a cannon. So if Vandagriff can put it together and be an accurate quarterback that makes crisp decisions and fits the balls into tight windows and hits guys on the run really consistently. If Vandagriff does all those things, he will be a nightmare for opposing defenses. And I thought that what we saw from him was positive. Whenever I watch Vandagriff, I haven't always had a positive takeaway. So having a positive takeaway after watching him against UT Martin was a good thing in my opinion. For Gunnar Stockton, I always feel good. I don't know. I just think Gunnar's got something, man. And that's kind of how I always feel when I watch him play. And that didn't change. That didn't change against UT Martin. In fact, it only made me feel better about it. Now, I think Gunnar Stockton and even Kirby said this. Their units didn't play as well. Offensive line and some weapons and stuff like that. So, let's look at the numbers. 3 for 5, 29 yards, right? For Gunnar, it's like, okay, whatever. But 3 for 5, 2 for 3 for 77 in that touchdown for Vandagriff. Now, that deep ball to Ra Thomas was good. It was good. And, of course, the comments and I'm sure the comments in this video, because I'm opening up to that, I suppose, are, going to be about Carson Beck. Oh, is this quarterback battle really settled? I believe this quarterback battle is settled. I think Carson will get more comfortable. It was his first game starting in years, right? Since his senior year in high school, he hasn't started a game. And that would have been 2019. That would have been his senior year in high school, the 2019 football season. So it's been 4 years since Carson Beck's gone out there and kind of just been able to do his thing. I thought he looked good at times. I think he will definitely be helped by having, a couple of those important weapons back. We're talking Lyle McConkey is one of the better wide receivers in college football and viewed as a pro prospect. Dejan Edwards is probably going to be their number one receiving back and is a bruiser. So the weapons need to come back. I think it was promising from the backup quarterbacks last night. I really do think it was a promising day for Georgia quarterbacks, and Kirby thought so as well. Thanks for watching. Link for the newsletter is down below.